Hello there. Yes, last week I told you that I'm back with a bang, and what a way to come back after that long break. Too many issues. We can't afford to keep quiet anymore. We need to speak up. So I decided to go on a short break. And some young ladies decided that they will let me have peace. They need to ginger up. No. Need to pepper up the system. Got everybody talking. Some very angry, some very excited. Sometimes, it's like some people that you should, think that they know better, losing their marbles, all because some young ladies decided that they are going to pepper the system small. It's been crazy, hasn't it? But at least they've got all of us talking. All talking, having the conversations that we need to have. We've had them before, but this time we are taking a look at it from a different angle. Today, I want us to tackle something that is bothering us. Pornography, nudity, and we are blaming it all on feminism. Women empowerment. There's a case of armed robbery, girls involved. It's all about this women empowerment thing. That's why the gay women are doing it. Nudity, pornography, women empowerment. That's why the girls are doing it. Is it really true? Have we pushed women empowerment to the extreme? Who even sets the boundaries anyway? At what point do we become extremists or radicals or moderates? Well, my name is Gifty, Auntie. Welcome to The Standpoint. It's only the third week in November and we're already peppered up. Let me say thank you to GTP for my cloth, Ophelia Crossland Design Sews for me, makeup products by Power Cosmetics, and Applied by Makeup and More. So grateful to all of them. I take a break. When we come back, we are looking at the issue of nudity and pornography. Is it a residue of women empowerment or feminism? We'll be back. Okay, welcome back to The Standpoint. If you just joined us today, we are looking at the case of nudity and pornography and finding out whether it is indeed as a result of the gender empowerment and the feminism drive that is going on in our country, or that's been going on for some time now. And I have the right people here with me. But as usual, let me acknowledge my sponsors. Thank you to Woma Africa. They produce Frito cooking oil, very good for the season. This is the time that we are going to go around eating at each other's house, and having fun and all that. So make sure you never run out of it. And also Fortune Rice. Fortune Rice comes in 3 types. And you identified by the packaging. Green package one is very good for mutuo and rice water. And then the orange package one, very good for wachi. And then finally, the wine package one, excellent for jollof rice and fried rice and all the nchicho rices. I have at least 2 of the ladies here. I know they are fancies. The third one, I don't know. I'll find out later. But she sounds like somebody who's from the fufu area. But, well, we'll find out later. Thank you to Woma Africa. We are indeed grateful. And our beautiful decor, Christmas decor by Jandel. Jandel, we are so grateful to them. Now, in the studio, to my extreme, in fact, from my extreme left, I have the Lydia Forson. The Lydia Forson. She is an actress. She's a blogger. She's a writer. She's a sarcasm expert. She is so many things. I don't know whether she's a feminist, but I know she's an advocate. Is there any difference? We'll find out later. Welcome back to The Standpoint, Lydia.
Thank you. It's always good to be here.
Yeah, okay.
The Lydia Forson.
The Lydia Forson.
I have to start adding that to my name.
Thank you. Next to the Lydia Forson is the with a capital T-H-E, Efe Planche. Efe, I'll come back later. Welcome to The Standpoint, Efe.
Thank you very much, Auntie.
And next to Efe, I have another T-H-E, Felicity Nelson. How do I describe her? I'll come back later. Welcome to the Standpoint.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you ladies. Yeah.
It's good to be here.
Let me start with Efe. Why Pepper Them Ministries?
It started off as an inside joke amongst us. A group of girls, a group of young women who met online. We happened to be interested in the same kinds of topics. And so it started off like that. And then if you said something that really hit home hard, that was like really in your face, it was too strong that not even Napoleon could have said it, then somebody would come and say, hey, as for this one, dear, it's hot, like pepper. You understand? And so, but the official Pepper Them Ministries officially came into being on the bedrock of an article that the Lydia Forson wrote. And then we were like, no, we need to like set this rolling so we can start archiving our thoughts, our critiques, our discussions on gender. So Pepper Them Ministries came off like that. It was something we were already saying amongst ourselves. We were calling ourselves choirists, Pepper Them Ministries. We had roles, just jokingly. And then we just, took it up the name. And then the ministries is just, building off the charismatic, vibrant culture that we are experiencing now.
Like
the boom.
Swag.
Exactly. So we are building off the boom. It's something that it registers quickly in people's minds, ministries. And so we just added it to the pepper.
Felicity, are you surprised at how your movement, I call it movement, has caught on nationwide?
To be honest, yes. I've been very surprised. But I think there was a few issues that we latched onto which acted as a catalyst for everything. But I've been surprised at how far we've gotten, even though there's so much more work to do, but how far we've gotten in terms of... But social media is a very powerful tool and it helps you to reach a lot of people at once, at any one time. So if we were probably sitting at home saying these things and having these conversations, we wouldn't have had such an impact. But on social media, someone's in Takoradi, someone's in London, someone's in America, they can all tap into it and see what's happening and join forces. And I think because we all have very strong personalities, so that comes across. And even that on its own is very abrasive to a lot of people. So even that on its own is something that catches on, because like, who do they think they are? And even that it becomes a subject of interest.
Right.
Who do they think they are?
Yeah. Suddenly.
Yes.
Popped up and... yoga.
Yeah. Peppering.
Lydia, they call you their what? Matriarch.
I don't even... I keep saying, I just woke up one day, minding my business on social media, and I was getting stray bullets, at me. I'm like, what's going on here? And I'm flattered, but...
Did you say minding your own business?
I was minding that...
Do you ever mind your
business?
business?
On that particular day, yes.
You buy people's fights.
On that particular day, as I'd hung up my boots, I was having a very quiet day on social media. Then people were just throwing stuff at me. I'm like, what did I do wrong? Then I'm like, it's F.A. But, every time they would say that, to be very honest, it was both flattering, but then, my goodness, like I'm responsible for, I didn't think I call you all the time, and I think that I've not even reached anywhere in this, fight, and I a lot of times want to even give up. But then, a group of young girls are fired up and they feel inspired, by me. It's a huge, I don't know what words to use, but you feel like, I have my work cut out for me. But it came at the right time, because I was also at the point where I felt like, who am I fighting? I was tired, really, really tired. I'd had conversations with you. I'm like, I don't need this. I live a very comfortable life. I'm a strong woman. People can't do certain things to me. I think I'm fighting for people to have a better life. But then the women you claim you're fighting for are some of the most vicious and vile. So I was really tired. But then when people like this come up, it inspires you, because you're like, wow, maybe, you hit a mark somewhere. Maybe you inspired, even if it's just one person, it inspires you to also go out there and do more.
So, what do you hope to achieve with this Pepper Them Ministries?
So I always tell people that this is something that all of us individually were already in the business of doing. if for nothing at all, I think that each of us is just taking advantage of the rights we have as citizens of Ghana to enjoy our freedom of expression. So no matter what happens to the organization as the group right now, no matter what, I still have that freedom to speak up on issues. So I think that's the aim.
So you really just want to speak up?
I'm speaking
on
up.
issue.
And we want to create awareness, because I think that in Ghana for a very long time we pretended that we don't have any gender issues. There's no biases, because, you know, people cite examples saying, oh, you know, we have a female Attorney General, we have a female Chief Justice. You know, if you're a woman and you want to be what, you can be whatever you want to be without, and there's no prejudices.
Yes.
But then really, when you start, you scrape the surface, and even with the little conversations we're having, when you realize how entrenched people's positions and when they think of a woman's place in society, you realize that we have a very deep problem. So for us, it's realizing that there's a problem, because unless you acknowledge there's a problem, you can't actually start dealing with this. So
But Felicity, these problems there have been attempts to address them.
Yes.
But people have been in the trenches for years trying to empower women, trying to protect the feminism agenda and all that. Do you think they haven't done enough?
No, I don't think they haven't done enough, but then I don't think you ever, with movements, I don't think there's ever a stage where you can reach the 100%. It's always going to be progression. So the people who have been doing the work, like yourself, especially, and, you know, all over the world, women who have been doing this type of work, I would in no way undermine their efforts, but the thing is, we have to carry it on.
Yeah.
So if we don't carry it on, who's going to do it for the children? So we have to carry on. Somebody else picks up where we left. Whenever we die and we go, someone else will pick it up.
Yeah.
We have to continue to assess society. Is a continuous thing.
Right.
And as Gifty, I think that, not to cut you, and sorry to cut you, but I also think that I believe that there's no one way of achieving, you know, this fight, you know, the end goals. There's no one way. And what stops us from exploring all these other ways that we can get the message across?
Yeah.
There's different audiences, there's different backgrounds, there's different generations.
Yes.
How do we test other approaches to make sure that we are all, at the end of the day, fighting for the same goal? So that's also what we're
To
doing.
chip in here, I just had an epiphany a couple of days ago. I said, you know, the fight for equality is never really going to end.
No.
At every point, it might not be in our lifetime. Who knows? We might be at the point in our life where men will be the oppressed one. I doubt it. But, you know, men will be the oppressed group, and then they will need people fighting. So at every point in our life, in our society, in our generations to come, we are going to need people who are always going to try and strike a balance. There are always going to be people who are on the far left or far right, but we need people who are in the middle trying to create a balance.
Right.
Because no one group should have too much power over the other.
Right.
I think that even if you look at how it started, like in Western countries, it started with the women's right to vote, you know, and it started with these things, and now they've moved on. Now all women can vote in the Western world, but then you're thinking about the gender pay gap. So every time different things will come up. And you need to address those things. So it isn't just, it's a long fight, and because prejudices will always manifest themselves in different ways.
Right. Yes. Right. But for me, I say thank you, because you have peppered up the system. I've been, you know, trying to relax for the past 9 months, and what a way to come back. You know, I came back and like, okay, there's some
We held the fort.
revolution going on, you know, so, well, let's jump on board and get it going, you know. So I am proud of you, ladies.
Thank
I'm
you.
happy.
Thank you.
Really, really happy, and I'm happy that you have hair.
They brought me back.
Thank you. I can relax knowing that you've got hair, you know, going. Let me take a break. When we come back, we'll launch into the issue of nudity and pornography, and whether you ladies, what you are projecting, have anything. They said me, I'm a better feminist, you know. They should go and ask. While you're watching The Standpoint, again, I say thank you to GTP for my cloth Ophelia Crossland design. So it's for me. My makeup by Paba Cosmetics and applied by Makeup and More. Did I say my cloth by GTP? Yes, my cloth is by GTP, and I'm so grateful to them. The set design beautifully done by Jandel. That's the decor done by Jandel Christmas, and we are launching you into the Christmas mood. Listen, I love Christmas, and you must love Christmas by force, you know. Again, thank you to Veraldo Pineapple Malt, by Casapreco Company Limited. Yogurt yogurt. As a woman, yogurt is very, very good for you. Eco Spa, water is life. Water is life. I take a break. When I come back, nudity and pornography. Welcome back to the Standpoint. Well, if you just joined us, we are looking at the issue of pornography and nudity, especially on social media, and whether gender empowerment and feminism agenda has anything to do with it. And I have Lydia, Efe, and Felicity in the studio. Celebrities in recent times have come under attack of taking naked pictures of themselves. Sometimes some will do videos of themselves virtually naked. Some, yeah, okay, Felicity, you want to handle that before
I think
go to Lydia?
even with this stuff, when Kim Kardashian does the same thing, these people who are bashing these Ghanaian celebrities, you know, they love Beyonce, they love Nicki Minaj, they love Kim Kardashian. But if a Ghanaian person does the same thing, they will judge them in a different way. So is it really about how she's dressed, or is it because of who she is and how our idea of how a Ghanaian woman should behave?
Exactly, because sometimes we also we rope in this aspect of the cultural setting.
Yes.
That
But if it's within that same cultural setting that you're sitting in Ghana looking at Kim Kardashian.
You see, this whole culture thing, people run to it when they want to. People run to culture or the Bible or anything to defend something they don't like. And they'll use the same thing to justify something they do like. Oh, so give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. But the Bible says don't do X, Y, Z. Because if we're talking about culture, the African woman was never really covered up.
Yes.
We were exposed for the most part. We used to walk around with our breast. And then, you know, Christianity came into play, and then we cover up. But then we are able to idolize the Beyoncés and Rihannas of the world because we've somehow managed to accept that that is who they are. So it's nice if they do it. But then if we do it, we are Ghanaians. I always tell people, make up your mind what you want to be. Exactly. If you want to be overly, you know, cultural people, be that, and there'll be nothing against it. But you can't pick, you know, and choose. The truth is, people are usually, and I said this, people are usually offended over something they wish they don't have any control over. They are so used to controlling women's bodies, especially even with women's advocates and feminists, that we say we are fighting for women to have a right to their bodies, to choose what they want to do. But we turn around and police women's bodies the same way. So I will not say go out there and be naked. But then if in fighting for freedom, this is what it comes with. There are men who have been stupid, who have, you know, warned some of the most unspeakable things and have gone naked and have done bad things because of their privilege that, you know, the society gives them. And there will be women too who act the fool sometimes. But this is what it comes with. When human beings have a choice, some are going to act stupid, but it cannot be blamed on a whole, you know, movement in a way.
Auntie Gifty, let me just add to that too. So we must understand, and that's why Pepperdam Ministries exist. We are more concerned with the mindsets and perceptions that enable the larger issues. When we came up, people like, deal with the larger issues. Go on the ground, go and deal with witchcraft, FGM. And I'm like, we must understand the backdrop of these larger issues. When feminists, you started with feminism in the US, the first fight was the right to vote, then it became the right for women to own properties and stuff like that. The backdrop of feminism or women's advocacy, you know, hammering on women's body autonomy, it's from the fact that we have in our society something like FGM. What is shaping that institution called FGM? It's a society, first of all, completely ignoring women's sexual rights. Okay? First of all, the society the communities that practice this, they know that women exist for sex. Recently, I've heard one counselor on TV or radio say that women were created for the pleasure of men. Okay,
but women are not supposed to
exactly.
feel
So we groom girls up to always aim for this end goal, and
Satisfying
yet
a
we
man's
do not want
sexual
them
need.
to express or discover it on their own. These are the things that shape the larger issues. So it's coming from a backdrop where we are saying, no, just as the man he recognizes the elements, the biological elements in him that makes him crave for sex. The woman is just like that. So first of all, you come to sexual education in our society. My sexual education is always pregnancy or pregnancy. The way we talk to girls about sex is always from a point of fear. Not that, okay, this thing that is in you, it is normal. God gave it to you. You have a right to it. But it's always from a point of fear. Okay, so it's coming from the backdrop of that. And so when young girls come, I never tell anybody, do not have sex. I don't tell people how to dress. I always say, even though we are encouraging you to embrace this other aspect of womanhood that society has always ignored, you are an adult, and the first qualification of an adult is responsibility. So you balance pleasure with responsibility. And sometimes it starts from the person you've chosen to do it with. Do they have enough to lose as much as you? Because you know the kind of society you live into. Your punishment is more than his.
Yeah.
Quote unquote punishment, psychological, mental, whatever. It's more than his. So you must choose. So it starts from who you're choosing it with, where you're doing it with, under what circumstances, and all of that. And so sexual liberation actually goes beyond just feeling the need and having the right to post on that. It comes with knowing the intent with which I have sex, the motivation for doing sex, the expectations I go into the sexual act with. That is sexual liberation.
I mean, she said it all.
Okay, let's Lydia finish, and then I'll come to you, Felicity.
Oh no, I was like, she's just said it all. And then she said something very important. And I think that's one of the things I admire about what they are doing and what people seem to overlook. I think they use a lot of sarcasm and which unfortunately in our society, you literally have to break it down. Like, it's a joke. I am trying to get you to think. You know, it's unfortunate that that's what we have to do. But one of the most powerful things she said is, we are trying to get to the roots of the problem. A lot of times we see a tree bearing very ugly fruits and nobody wants to know what is happening. Why are girls doing this in the first place? From your childhood, you are taught that you are supposed to get a man, find a man, keep a man, you know, be attractive for a man. But then you are shamed for doing these very things. So a lot of girls are confused in a way. I find that a lot of girls who even take all these naked pictures are the most insecure people. Do you understand? They are confused in their state because they are trying to break out of that cage. But the reality is, like she said, you have to be responsible for all the choices that you make. So nobody is going out there saying, go and have sex, go and do this. Men police women's bodies like a woman should not enjoy sex. She should not talk about sex. Women lie about how many sexual partners they've had because you're supposed to have probably just one. Even that one cry was not real. You didn't really, you know. And then men...
the kind of sexual life they have with even their husbands.
Exactly. They will lie. So the woman will lie to a guy that she's a virgin, but then with another guy, Johnny, she's doing all kinds of, you know, things. So it comes with the mindset. So we are in a constant... what do we do? Where do we go? At every point, there's a problem, but we cannot find the answers if we don't get to the root of the problem itself.
Efe, you wanted to add something?
Yes, I wanted to add something, and I think that's one misconception about women's sexual liberation is that you can be sexually liberated and then wait till 30 years to have sex. It's not
even married.
Or wait till you're married to have sex. You can be sexually liberated and wait. So sexual liberation comes with the knowledge and acceptance about your sexuality and exploration, but you can even explore mentally, reading, by educating yourselves, listening to people's experience. You don't necessarily sexual liberation is not saying go and just live, because now, even logically, I was telling someone the other day that I feel that we'll do a better job when it comes to the lesson of abstinence. We'll do a better job if we approach it logically and not relate psychologically.
And I have to add this very important point that a lot of times I have noticed that the more women I interact with who are sexually liberated are some of the most responsible women I know. They're the ones who don't get pregnant. They're the ones who don't get STDs because they are aware. As a woman, I know that a man is not going to trick me and say, oh, I am a condom on, but then I will know that I'm going to look back, did he take it off? You better still have it. You know, I am aware that I'm responsible for my body. That if I agree to have sex with a man, I'm protected. I am the one who will get pregnant. That if he says that he doesn't have any STDs, what about me?
Yeah.
So there's misconception about liberation when we think freedom, because women have been policed again for Lord knows how long. There's an assumption that we are saying go out there and sleep with the rest of the world. But when you are aware of your body and you are aware that, you know what, I can derive pleasure, it's okay to want sex, it's okay to talk about sex, it's okay to tell my husband, my boyfriend, where I don't like what you're doing. Because I am aware of my body, I know I am responsible for what happens to it. But there's this culture of silence that women shouldn't talk about it. Women should not see a guy's butt and be turned on. But the truth is, we've seen a couple of butts and gone like, whoa. Do you understand?
Okay, lady.
No, but you see, because we pretend.
Actually, did I see your fingers?
But you see, because we have been forced to deny ourselves that, okay, let's not talk about. Girls talk all the time, and guys will be surprised at the kind of conversations we have.
No, we gossip.
Yeah. But because
when we meet, we only gossip.
it's like I tell guys all the time, like, you really think you are sitting there talking about a girl that I did this to, and we are like, oh, this guy. Don't go there at all. But because we don't have these real conversations,
It's a non-starter.
I'm like, madam, sister. And then there are guys who are like, oh, you go and have some fun. But because we don't have these real conversations, girls are out there having STDs. They're having, I wanted. You see a guy with 5, 6 baby mamas out there, you're like, how did it happen?
Okay.
But girls are not being taught to be responsible for their bodies. Men are being taught to have power over these women's bodies. And they do all of this to us. And then we are left to clean, It's just sad.
Lydia Forson is an actress, an activist, a blogger, a writer, and everything. Felicity Boateng, founding member of Them Ministries, and she's also a business development professional. So she doesn't sit on social media 24/7 peppering people. Efe Franca Planche is a founding member of Them Ministries and also a consultant to Ministry of Tourism. We take a break. When we come back, I think I'll go to my audience. I see members of Them Ministries. I'm sure they have some contributions, and some ladies here too may have some questions. Don't I just love these ladies?
Love you too.
Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. We'll be back. Welcome back. The Standpoint is sponsored by Walmart Africa. Walmart Africa produces Frito cooking oil and Fortune Rice. Fortune Rice comes in three types. We have the green package one, good for mutu and rice water. Orange package one for wache, and then the wine packaged one, very good for fried rice and jollof rice. Remember, this program is aired on ABN TV, which is across Western Europe, parts of Canada and Asia. Our website, www.thestandpoint.com.gh, is powered by Dream Oval. Anytime you miss anything, just go back there and have a review of the programs. And of course, our YouTube channel, The Standpoint, you can always catch up there. So don't miss anything about The Standpoint, especially from now until the many years. And hey, do you know something? Next year, 2018, July, we are going to be 10 years. The Standpoint is going to be 10 years, yes. And as part of activities marking our 10th anniversary, we are going to have a conference on demystifying feminism. It's going to be big. It's going to be exciting. We are going to join these ladies and help pepper up the system. It's also exciting. They brought some excitement to the system, and I am happy about that. But let me go to the audience.
Yes. Okay. I wanted to touch on this whole moral policing of women and basically how we've hidden behind religion to do it. I'm a Christian, and I usually feel very strongly about this angle of the discussion. I tend to ask a lot of questions on Facebook that deal with morality, and I ask, where in the Bible are women called to a different moral standard than men? And usually you find people fumbling. They can't point pinpoint where
The virtuous woman.
but the virtuous
The
woman,
Proverbs 31 woman.
exactly. But when you look at the scriptures that directly talk about sin and holiness and purity, there is no gender specification there. We are all called to the same standard.
Some of these discussions have been raised by Pepedems, and we've always and all the time, we'll never stop, try to make people aware that this is what we stand for. We want to liberate people from mental slavery. The woman is not so different from the man. So why do we always put a lot of responsibilities on the woman? You don't have to be naked, aketesia, katahunesi. But we have men dressing with their pants and sometimes hairy bags and all of that. You know, exactly. But we never complain. We see them when we see them when we go like, you look aside. You know, yeah. But when you see a woman dressed like that and hell break loose, why are you? It should be the same way.
I work in the deepest communities, very hard to reach communities in the northern part of the country. And we wouldn't even imagine how far these things have gone. Right now, everything is being tied to women empowerment. And when you go down there to do advocacy on various issues, child marriage and all that, communities or if people down there begin to say, oh, now it's all about women empowerment. We can't even cane our children. We can't even do this. You have spoiled them with all your women empowerment issues. And so this goes beyond what is happening probably just around social media or in the news or whatever. It goes really deep down.
Okay, Ife, you want to say something quickly before?
I also wanted, based off on everything that we've all said here, I think that, I get sad as a society. I feel like we are retrogressing in many, many ways. On social media, you hear a lot of people raising that, oh, it's not our culture, you know, it's an African. And I'm like, whoa. Malaka Grant has an interesting article where, you know, she calls into question this scenario where we tie nudity, a woman exposing herself to immorality. Because if you look at all the depictions of Africans in non-Western societies, how we were dressing based on our climate. Based on our climate, if you look at all the depictions, look, nudity was the order of the day. And it's so surprising that even at that level of civilization, men knew that men could interact with women in the marketplace, in the town square, with breasts all over. I'm naked, you're naked. Yet I know that my wife in the bedroom, that is different breasts. You understand? I always make this distinction. So that's a certain level of civilization. So it all comes down to...
Some will argue that, yes, civilization has moved on. We are in the 21st century. We can't live like that anymore. We can't walk naked to the marketplace anymore.
The problem is that the rules of nudity doesn't apply to the men. When men are feeling hot and they bare their chest,
I think the point is,
that's the point
correct me if I'm wrong, that, you know, people tend to run to culture again, that, you know, it's not our culture. But then when you go into deep African history, women were half naked most of the time. And that's been our culture. And even in that era, men knew it was an abomination. Not that people didn't do it then, but it was an abomination for a man to be courting a woman alone. They needed an escort. It was an abomination for a man to even rape a girl. And that's when they would force this man to marry this woman. Not that it was right, but you have almost ruined her for every, you know, body. So back then, men could, again, and one commenter made this very important point, that I see men bare-chested all the time. And there are men that I see, I'm like, goodness, this guy is fine. Hot. He's walking across the room, and I'm talking to my friend. I do that. I go on Instagram sometimes, and I just follow boxes, just, you know, But then I'm responsible enough to know that I don't cross the line. The whole thing is just being responsible for yourself. Men have been given freedom to make mistakes. Sleep with a couple of women and then be responsible for your children. But then a woman has a baby and she is the baby mama. She's the irresponsible. She's the born one that nobody wants. So really, we've given men so much freedom. And I refuse to believe that the African man has always been like this. He hasn't. I don't want to believe that.
And Auntie Gifty, what really is African and what is un-African about this whole situation is that we've reduced the essence of masculinity. You've been given the might, the strength, biologically you've been endowed with this. And traditionally in African societies, you use this to protect the vulnerable, to defend the society. That is what masculinity was. Now here we have a situation, we've made all these excuses for men that the ones that they are supposed to protect, they prey on. Little 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
Women who can talk for themselves.
Yeah.
Just because you can empower her or overpower her, then you take advantage. That is what is un-African.
We devour what we are supposed to protect.
Exactly. Yeah.
Felicity, they've all made their concluding remarks.
You didn't tell us.
Yes. So Felicity, shout him out.
Shout out.
Felicity, your concluding remarks.
They've kind of touched on so many things. I just think that as we've had this conversation, we haven't really placed any responsibility on women, because women also are the gatekeepers. We also, there are women who support when a man goes wrong, they will come in and blame the other woman. And so we have to also, there's a responsibility on both the sexes to recognize these things as problems. So it's not just men. So just to kind of make that point, because people always believe that pepper them means you're peppering men, but no, we're peppering misogyny and patriarchy.
The thing is, you see, we don't like reading. So the misogyny that you are mentioning, a lot of people don't know what you're talking about, you know. They don't really understand.
Yeah, it's true.
There's a me there, so it can be men.
And that's why I'm so glad you're doing that conference in 2018, because I have friends who are lawyers, who are professionals, highly intelligent women. And it was like a wow moment for me that they really didn't even understand what feminism is. I am still learning as I go. So you're coming into a system where people really are ignorant to these things. There are women who are for women, but they don't understand what, you know, the word feminism and women's advocacy means. So that's why it's really important that you're having that we can have these real conversations. We weren't taught feminism in school.
No.
We're not taught women's advocacy. No. A lot of us, I hated the word fem until date. I still struggle. It's a conversation. I'm very honest.
She's an activist. She's not a feminist.
No, and I'm very honest with it, because I was feeding into the stereotype that I grew up believing that feminists are women who never marry. They are, they loud women and they hate men. Because that's what we grew up thinking. You have to now go into yourself, learn, read, and have an aha moment like, wow, okay, this is not what it's about. That's why a lot of women are afraid of identifying with the word, feminism, because they are afraid that as an unmarried single woman, it automatically means no man should come, So we are just all ignorant.
Thank you very much. I think this is a conversation that will never end.
Yes.
Thankfully, there's always something to talk about.
Yes.
And even as we move into 2018 and we prepare for the conference, I mean, we'll be having more of such conversations, because it's been, every time I learn something new. Unfortunately, we live in a society where we think that the elderly or those who started the movement or who charted the cause know everything, but the world is changing. New things are coming up. We can learn. You can learn from the young. You can learn from the old. You can learn from whichever angle you choose to. So I have learned a lot. You have opened my eyes to a lot of things today, and I'm grateful to have you. And I must say that I'm proud of what you're doing.
Thank you.
Because you seem to know exactly what you're doing.
They do.
On that note, I'll be back with a bit of me. I love, and I always love to quote this favorite, friend of mine, my uncle. I call him Uncle Ebo. He always says, Ghanaians are peace-loving hypocrites. We are such hypocrites. Now, the easiest thing to do is to blame it all on women. Oh, it's about this gender empowerment. It's all about this feminism agenda. But we are human beings. We have our habits, we have our characters, we have our what have you. We are all not born by the same, even twins, have different likes and, exhibit different, behaviors and attitudes and what have you. So yes, there seem to be nudity and pornography all over the place involving women. What has it got to do with women empowerment? Do we understand empowerment? Listen, we all have choices. Even God gave us choices. We can choose to believe in Him or not. He created us, but He won't force us to believe in Him or to trust Him or to have faith in Him. I say that what we are looking for is not power, but we need power to get what we want. We need power to change the status quo. So yes, it will burn before it settles. Live and let's live. If we all respect each other, there won't be conflict. So please, let's stop this right here. Let's stop it. Because whether you like it or not, some people have poured pepper into the system. The conversation will continue. The revolution will continue. So let's rather find a common ground to have an intellectual conversation, to see the way forward, to see how we're going to socialize our girls, to socialize our boys, to go on the right path. Well, my name remains Ohineyere Gifty Auntie, and now for my super crazy faith, I'm not letting it go. I'm holding on tight, like Pepe. Thanks for watching. See you same time next week. Bye for now.